Fine. So, can we start? Today, I guess Isha and Meet. Isha and Meet, you are the students with whom I'll confirm. Fine. So if there is any question or query, you please unmute your mic and tell me. And if there is a doubt or any technical issue, anybody can interrupt and anybody can ask me in between the lecture. Fine. But I'll confirm from two students, Meet and Isha. Is it fine? Isha and Meet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Fine, great. Okay, so let's go with this. Today we'll talk about report writing. In the last lab session, right? I guess in one lab I could start letter writing. Fine. So letter writing and report writing are similar in nature. So far as their type of communication is concerned, that is what we call written communication. So here we'll talk about it a little bit, considering that you know little about it. I also share the recording link of YouTube link of letter writing, so that those who could not attend lab in the last session, right, or they had certain things, right, other things. For example, in one lab I had role play because there was one lab which was cancelled in the past. That's why they are little bit behind by one lab. So they can cope up with this, and if there is a question or query, you can definitely get back to me. So I'll share that link in the WhatsApp group, right? Okay. So we can start with report writing today. For closing remarks, right? Instead of opening and closing remarks, what I've done is we'll go for closing remarks and we'll ask two students to go for it. So Deepan and Isha, right? These are the two students who will close the session today. Deepan and Isha, is it comfortable with you people? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Dipen, where are you? Dipen, are you there? Is Dipen present today? Fine. I'll ask somebody else, right? If Dipen is not present by the end of the lecture. Okay. And most important thing is this lecture will be continued by tomorrow also, because this is something which is asked every time for 7 marks. 7 marks for letter writing, 7 marks for memo writing, 7 marks for report writing. So 7 threes are 21. So one lab and two lectures. That is 4 hours. These 4 hours will give you somewhere around 20 plus marks of weightage in your final exam. Fine. So that's why you need to understand that. Further, in your professional life, when you step into the real world, right, you will require to write reports, you are required to write letters, and you will find and receive and send memos. So that's why also it is required that you give little bit of weightage to this. That's why we will continue this session for 2 hours. That is today 1 hour and tomorrow 1 hour. Today I'll talk about theory part, and tomorrow we'll have practical discussion. And in this entire week, these 3 labs will have practices. So in this way, we'll be able to acquire mastery over these 3 formats: letter, report, and memo. Right? Okay. Now, what is a report? See, if you come across the current news, right, that Vikash Dubey was caught, arrested from Ujjain, and right, he was killed in an encounter near Kanpur. Now, people ask that, that we need a CBI to investigate and submit the report. See, my focus is report. Unfortunately, Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide. People say that there is something fishy. Looking at his personality, we need to find out that what was actual thing. So there were some people when they were investigating, taking, recording statements of different personalities, and they prepare a report. A report. That means report is not limited to what we talk today and what we will talk tomorrow. Report is everywhere in every field. There are 100 types of reports, and there are 100 plus objectives, purposes, functions of reports. In the corporates, when you go, right, and when you see the system over there, you will find that all the decisions are made on the basis of the reports, right? That means they will more focus on Excel, that is analysis, right? Then Word and PowerPoint, that is descriptive things, and presentation. Presentation is important, but their focus would be on facts and figures. Fine. So report in a way is called description of an event. That means whatever event is, it describes about the event. Number one. Analysis of some specific thing. That means, right, you go to the websites of UNESCO, right? You will find that how the education has been affected during this pandemic situation, right? You will find the facts and figures, and you'll be surprised to know, right? Nowadays, what happens? For example, if there was one article published in newspaper that there is a high demand of smartphones and laptops because of these online classes. So that is what we call. They don't, dream of it and they write. There is a specific method of data collection, right? That means everybody is asked randomly. They are asked based on that facts and figures. They collect it, and on those data or that material that they have collected, they analyze it. For example, there are 100 students in computer engineering, and we want to see that how many of them are interested for further studies, how many of them are interested for jobs, how many of them are interested for their own business setup, right? So how can we find out? We ask them, and out of 100 there are certain people, right? For example, 20, 20, 40, and 60. So 60 students are there, they want to go for further studies. 20 students are there, they want to go for a job, and 20 students want to start their own business. Now, how to present this data through bar chart, through pie chart? There are different ways of representing, but data is processed. That process of data is called analysis. Fine. Why I'm emphasis on this? Because in your master degree, in your final semester, when you will be asked to prepare a project in your design engineering, when you are asked to design a solution or prepare a project, data analysis would be there invariably. That's why we need to be extra careful about it. Now, third point is formal in nature, and it is written for a specific purpose and audience. Fine. It is said that a report and memo, they are for internal communication. Mind it, right? That means the superior assigned this task to the junior of his company only, and that person investigates, find out the solution, find out the problems, suggest the solution, and compile a report and submits. So broadly speaking, report writing is a kind of internal communication, but there are reports, right? They are published publicly. So we cannot say that report is only underline, bold, italic is only used for internal communication. It is generally used for internal communication, but it is also used for external purpose, right? Depending on the type of report and type of information which has been published in the report, right? Okay. Now it discusses the topic in depth and contains conclusions and recommendations if required. So, uh, if I give you a brief idea about report writing in one line, right? I can tell you that any report contains two things. Number one, the find outs or findings. Finding means whatever you find out from the situation. Findings of the given situations and suggestions for the given situation. That's all. In any report, you will find these two things. Findings, that means how it happened. What are the reasons? So you will find the reasons and probable solutions. This is what a report is. Up to this, is it clear with everybody? Isha?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought what happened to Isha's voice? Thank you. Okay. Now, what are the objectives? See, in a nutshell, I explained different types of objectives, functions for report writing. Fine. However, we'll discuss this in detail. Right? Why we explain this? Why we discuss this? Because this can be asked in MCQs. Right? If the format of exam is changed, that's why. To present a record of accomplished work, that is what we call project report, right? So if you are planning to, if you have got an idea that yes, this is something I can do, fine. One student I was discussing with one of my mentees, he is in master's degree, ME, computer engineering. We were discussing that can we use Unity for teaching English. So we created a kind of avatar that talks with you people in English. Right? Then I asked somebody that can we have a report? Can we have a kind of project where any character virtually can talk with you? Right? This is purely based on AR and VR. Fine. So people are there who are ready to finance. They said up to 1 crore, 2 crore, we don't mind it, but you give us a report, project report. This is project report, right? That we need to prepare. Second is the record of experiment, right? This is more or less connected with science stream. That they have mixed the chemicals and they look at the observation that what is the reaction, and they mention it. The laboratory report type of thing. If you are not feeling well, right, you go for blood report. Report is there. Fine. Okay. To record research findings or technical specifications, a report on the details of a new product. Right. This is something, a feasibility of launching a product. Right. So because of this pandemic, there are lots of new products that have come up. So we need to find out that whether this will work or not. So instead of launching entire product, they give away samples, right? And they take the feedback of the people who have used this, right? Technically, it is called, a pilot project. It is called pilot project, right? That means what will happen? That instead of everybody together, right, launching it on a large scale, it will be launched for a small scale, right? And in a small scale, they will get the feedback, They'll get the feedback, and based on the feedback, they'll decide that whether this product will work or not. So this is the way the new products are launched. They are modified as per the requirements. So this is third one. Fourth one is to document schedules, timetables, milestones. Fine. So this is for a kind of long-term planning. So we can call it a kind of vision, mission, or goal setting. Right. So generally, it is called roadmaps, right? Type of reports. So there are roadmaps that this is what we are here in 2020, and in 2030, 40, 50, the company will grow in this way. So this is what we call predictions. So predictions would be there, right? And based on those predictions, people can invest, people can find the prospects of the companies. Okay. Next is to document current status, inspection report, right? Generally, what happens that in exams you will be asked, if you refer to the previous papers, right, of GT, you will find that it is asked that one company is, there is a complaint from one company that the workers are not coming on time and they have got certain dissatisfaction regarding the salaries and bonus and these and that, right? So you go investigate for the current situation, right? You investigate, inspect, audit, check. These all are similar words, fine, but all the words are used in different purposes. Fine. Okay. So you find out that and you mention it. You record it and you submit it. Then to record and clarify complex information for future reference. This is for policies, right? When you get a job, you are asked to write sign certain documents, right? So policies are there that for certain period of time you won't be able to leave the job. Your salary would be like this. The breakup of salary is in this way, and you will get the increment in that particular format. That format would be given, right? The rules for the leaves, the rules for a working environment, everything, right? That is what we call policy documents. Then to present information to a large number of people, annual reports, right? Now annual reports are the reports, right? Nowadays you can find annual reports in digital formats. Earlier, if you are a shareholder of any company, you used to receive in physical copy those 300, 400 pages material, right? Those who are students of MBA finance, they study these reports because they need to work on this report, right? So all the financial details, their vision, mission, roadmaps, their predictions, everything is mentioned there, right, in the annual report. Then to present organized information on a particular topic, right? That means a report describing the working of various divisions and organization, right? That means this is what we call, in technical words, do you understand more? This is a kind of site map. In website, if you look at the site map, it will give you the connections, that which page is connected with which page, right? Which page is the sub page of which section. So this is site map. Here the organizational structure, right? That which department works, what are the functions of the department. So each and every details are mentioned so that any person can understand that, okay, in this company there are these many departments and they have different types of functions. To recommend actions that can be considered in solving certain problems, right? Now here what will happen that you are asked only to recommend that this is the situation, what can be done, you suggest, right? Generally what happens that advisory bodies are there, they are there to recommend, right? So these are recommendation reports. Now in ideal report, what happens, as I mentioned earlier, that there will be one thing, number one, right, that is findings of the situation and the suggestions and recommendations of the situation, right? So there are reports, they can only ask for recommendations, not findings, right? We also consider that as a feasibility report, right? For example, looking at this situation, one company thinks that why can't we have a gym in the office? or a kind of recreation club in the office where people can play table tennis, people can play chess, people can take rest over there, right? So there can be a kind of coffee house, right, in the company. So you don't need to find out what is the problem here. They ask for the feasibility. So you need to prepare that these are the feasibility, these are the possible benefits of the company, and these are the possible ways of expenses, right? So you prepare that kind of thing, and you can submit it, right? This is the thing. Okay. Up to now, is it clear? What the students, please tell me. Unmute your mic and tell me. Up to here, everybody is okay,
Yes, sir.
I guess. Fine. There is no issue, no? Great. You need to type in the comment box. Reports are informal in nature. You need to type in a comment box. Fastest finger first, let's see. You need to type the answer, whether it is true or false. You've got 60 seconds with you people. It is not A or B, it is true or false. You need to type true or false. 30 seconds remaining. Good, good, good. Everybody is typing false. Wow. Fantastic. See, I told you this is the benefit of teaching intelligent mass, right? So half of the things are automatically done. So everybody is right, right? It is not informal, it is 100% formal in nature. Great. Now here there is one twist. Generally, I ask two questions at different intervals, right? Now in this session, what I thought is I'll ask you back to back two questions. So those who are feeling relaxed, come back again. Look at this. Is a report used for internal communication only? True or false? Okay, great. I can, I can bet that you people can be there for the fastest typing on keyboard, right? The way you type and you reply is mind blowing. I'm proud of you people. Thank you very much. So let's go for what is the correct answer? Yeah, false. Right? Okay. So up to now, and these two questions, I guess there's no issue, no question. Isha, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go ahead. Characteristics of a good report. Fine. Okay. Now, what do you mean by characteristics? Right? See, the word character is very important. Character speaks for you. Your mindsets, your ideology, what you think about other people, right? That depends on the word character, and that's why character has been given more importance. Now, there are two words related to character: personality and identity. Today's task is to find out what is the difference between personality and identity. Fine. So this is the task. We can. I'll be available online at 6 p.m. If you have a question or query, we can discuss on WhatsApp. Fine. What is the difference between personality and identity? Number one. Right. Okay. So it talks about characteristics. Now, if somebody asks you that what is the characteristic of a characteristic? What do you mean by characteristic? Right? So it will give you a kind of, you can imagine, you can visualize something. So if you want to visualize a good report, right, what are the qualities required to be there in a report so that you can visualize as a good report? So we'll go through one by one. Number one, it should be reader friendly. That means the report should be reader oriented, right? The way our teaching, our lecture is student oriented, it should be reader oriented. Now I tell you that there are lots of tools available on net which can judge, which can gauge, which can measure, which can evaluate your readability. For example, you type one letter, you type one essay, you submit to that website, right? And it will give you that up to what extent your content is readable. Fine. So that will help you to find more readability. While writing a report, the writer should have the idea of the reader in his mind or reader's expectations, right? So here you understand that what you give. See, if you remember, I told you that, see, you give what is required, you don't give what you have, right? So if you give what is expected, you will be appreciated. If you give what is, what you have, people may not respect you, people may not, may not love you, may not accept you. Why? Because they don't need it. So you need to find out what is expected, what is required in one letter or 2 pages of a report. You need to find it out, and accordingly you go with that. So here you don't need to be a storyteller, you don't need to be a fiction writer, right? You need to be very particular. Each and every word should have a value, concrete, right? And you need to write in a way. Second, now if you go for this, right, for reader friendly, how to find out this? So you need to ask these 5 questions to yourself, and you will get the idea, you will get the reply. Who is going to read the report? Right? Why I'm telling you is there are technical words, right? For example, Scott Tiger indexing in Oracle, right? So the people who are laymen, they may not understand what do you mean by indexing. They will consider that index is there in the front, the first 3 pages or 4 pages of a book, which gives the contents, name of unit and page number, right? But it does not have ing form grammatically. But here indexing is something, is a type of sorting in Oracle. Hello? Am I right or not? You correct me, computer people. Isha, Vrunda, Parth. Do you study this in DBMS, indexing and all this? Okay, so you are early. See, you are learning
Not yet,
the computer from a language teacher, right? Okay, what do they need to know? What is their expectation? See, buffet type of thing. What they expect. You mentioned that. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. What do they want to know? Why they do want it? Do they want to know these dishes, right? Are they the stakeholders? Are they the people who have interest in knowing this? Why? You justify this. Fine. And I tell you that even philosophically, if you can find out the answer of this question, why, you have won the battle of your life, right? Compared to the point, what level of details do they want to know? See, there are types of levels of details. For example, we cannot tell everything to everybody, right? Because sometimes they don't deserve it, right? So we have certain people around us, our relatives, our friends, fine, that those people, they don't deserve something, more than certain limits. If you give them, they'll not, they don't have value for it. You need to find out that what is the level of this person. Is this the person third party being dealt them this much only, right? You must have heard in press conferences that people used to avoid certain questions. Why? Because it is not to be shared in public. But if you're writing a letter to your boss, You need to tell everything in black and white. In black and white is is an idiom that everything should be there mentioned clearly, right? Then when do they need to know? That means at what time they are required to know. Even that is important to explain. Okay. Defining the purpose. See, if there is no purpose in your life, right, or no objective, you are not living, you are existing. It's just an existence, like animals, right? But if you have an objective in life, if you have a purpose in life, you are living. If there is a purpose of your report, it is a report. If you don't have any purpose of writing a report, if you are writing, it is a piece of paper, that's all. So we need to find out that what is the purpose from the various purposes, right? Whether it is just to give information, whether it is to convince someone, whether it is to recommend for something, right? We need to find it out, and based on that, the content, format, sequence, right? These are the things which are decided. Mind it, a good report presents facts and arguments in a manner that supports the purpose of the report. That means when you talk about a report, when you write a report and when you submit a report, the report and the purpose for which you were appointed to work, if they are not matching, it is good for nothing. Reliability and relevance. Right? People trust you, that is very important thing, right? And I tell you that trust is the only thing which is rooted or which is there in the root of any relation in the world, right? That means when you are asked to do certain duty, and if you do it perfectly, you will build a trust, right? I often say in the classroom that there are 3 types of balances required. One is bank balance, of course. If you don't have money, people will not look at you. Number 2 is emotional balance. Right? See, if you remember, I told you in your second semester that we require somebody and we are required by somebody. It's a fact of life. That means we all are interdependent. Right? So you cannot feel like that I alone can win the battle. It's not possible. And third one is important, that is trust. Trust balance. If you are not there, if you're in trouble, you make a call to a friend, one friend, right? And that friend is there with you. He will be there, stand by, no matter whether you're right or wrong, whatever the situation is, right? So that is what we call reliability, trust. So here you need to earn that over a period of time, where whatever you write, right, whether it is reliable or not, how it can be done, right, with the facts and figures. You accurately, aptly, appropriately, very consciously submit and include the facts and figures in your report. So that will give you a kind of stand in the reader's mind that, okay, that is the person who always share the facts and figures which are right. So they have some reliability, trust on you. As you know that important actions and decisions are taken based on the report. Now, misleading facts can be dangerous. You understand that? Your one wrong information can lead to companies, invite companies, what we call it, bad situation, or it can divert the company altogether in a different direction, right? Second thing, it is mentioned that it should have relevance, right? It should be related to the task which has been asked. Keep it short and simple. This was asked, the origin of the word KISS as an acronym has a beautiful story, right? It has been originated by one of the presidents of USA, not Donald Trump, right? Task number 2 for today, you need to find it out. Fine. I can give you one clue. This was the person who was in the election standing against Abraham Lincoln. Fine. So that can be easy for you to find it out. Right. It should be short and simple. That means the report must be brief and should not use decorative language. I told you that you are not a fiction writer. Fine. So you don't need to, make the people visualize. This is not a Word document. This is Excel document. This is purely based on analysis. It's purely based on the data. Fine. So you need to keep the Excel format, tables, charts, maps, everything in mind, in center and right. Long reports and unnecessary information is not appreciated in report writing. So if you write for 4 pages report, right, that sir, it has been asked for 7 marks or 8 marks, should I not write for at least 4 pages? No, it is not like that. This is the technical thing. So it's okay. There are certain PhD thesis of less than 20 pages. Generally, a PhD thesis is of 200 to 300 pages. But there are PhD theses of science, of mathematics, right? You need to prove the things. If you can prove the things in less than 20 pages, it's okay. Their PhD theses are accepted. So make sure that you don't, you overuse the words, right? Whatever is necessary, you write it. So I'm going to share the formats templates for it so that you can, write, within that frame and you can get the good marks. You must be factual and talking straight about important points, right? So no stories, directly on the business. It should have adequate language, right? See, there are different types of languages used for different purposes, different situations. For example, language, if you consider language for spoken English, right? There is a language for written English, informal language, formal language. So different types of languages are used for different purposes. So we need to be clear about it, that which language we are using. Definitely we'll be using formal language, as I mentioned earlier, that this is a kind of formal thing. Okay. So the reader must understand the report clearly. So there must be clarity, one thing, in the language. So it is important that the language of the report is necessarily easy. See, don't try to awaken Sasi Tharoor in you, right? See, if you believe that if you speak in a language where people need a dictionary to open, in that case you are very brilliant. No, it is not like that. The purpose of English language is to communicate, simple. And we are talking about effective technical communication. Right? So here, technically, your language should be easy to understand. The language can be used keeping in mind the reader of the report. The use of jargon must be avoided if the report is meant for someone who does not belong to the particular field. As I mentioned earlier, if the report is for the layman, you don't use technical words. And if you are using technical words, in the glossary, in the appendix, mention the meaning of those technical words so that the layman can understand it. Do not use the acronyms that your reader might not know, right? So acronyms are there, which we know because we use in everyday life, but we are talking to third party or in a mass, which is anonymous to us, which we don't know, which are not familiar to us directly, right, in day-to-day communication. So it is better that we avoid such kind of acronyms. Compose short and grammatically correct sentences, right? So don't try to be Jawaharlal Nehru, right, in writing. If you read his book, right, you will find that one sentence is equal to one paragraph, right? You will die to find out full stop, in the sentences. So don't go for such kind of thing, right? So here our purpose is that the reader should lucidly understand what you have meant, right? And yes, use Grammarly, use spelling error tools, right? So that you can find it out. There are also free tools available online. You can copy and paste your entire document there, and it will tell you, the way I told you, that it can give you readability. It will tell you that how many words have been used, right? For how many times, that is frequency of words usage. For example, I when I speak, I have a habit of speaking, right? So in 1 hour time, I speak somewhere around 25 times, right? So here, when I type something, if I use certain words, I copy and paste to that format, it will tell me that these are the things it has been used for these many times. So in even that way, it will help you. Last point is organized and well structured. It should be properly structured. It should be properly organized, right? So we'll talk about the format, right? And based on the format and template, you will get the idea that if it is properly structured and organized, it will give you definitely the purpose. You will win the purpose. It will suffice the purpose for which you are writing. Structuring and sequencing of ideas is very important in report writing. They must be arranged logically. See, logic is very important, right? In English, it is also called coherence, right? It should be coherent. That it comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this sequence. Generally, what happens in our lecture? It happens that we write in such a way that it gives an idea to the students. Even in labs, I tell you the flow of the session in 120 minutes. This would be the time devoted to this much or for this task. So you get the idea. Okay, there are 7 things we are going to learn or pass through, right, in the lab, and it will take this much time. So this is called logical arrangement, right? Okay. Use heading where necessary to make it easy for the reader to concentrate on the specific part of the reader, right? I tell you that the latest thing about resume writing, I'm going to talk about resume writing, when I talk about it in Google, in Microsoft, right? HR of Microsoft, HR of, Google, they are given 15 seconds, maximum 20 seconds to scan one resume, right? Don't keep your eyes wide open. This is the fact. Now see, if you have designed your resume of 7 pages, what will happen? Straight away rejected. Fine. So this is the scenario. Every computer student who are aspirants for a job, right, for placement, they should know this. It should be of only 1 page, and whatever is necessary, write that only, nothing else, right, which can make you stand out from the audience. Okay. Type of the report, right? Okay. So type of the report and GDU questions. This was the question asked. You will get an idea. Okay, how it is asked. A serious accident had taken place at a company plant few days ago. As a manager of the plant, prepare a detailed report on it with a view to the causes, damage done, and precautions for the future. Now, as a manager, you're writing to your head, that is managing director. Now, what will happen that in your report, what you are required to add, that is causes, damage done. That means you find out what was the reason. You mentioned that. And precautions, that is suggestions. You must have got an idea. Isha, is it clear up now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where is the other one? Hello? Where is the other student? Who was the second one?
Yes, sir.
Speak a little bit confidently, gentlemen. Say yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Loudly.
Yes,
Loudly.
sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. So next is here. I wanted to talk about the formats and everything. As I told you that we'll be talking in the next class. Fine. Okay. So here, any question up to now? Everybody, you can unmute your mic, and if you have a question, you can ask me. If you don't have any question, you can type no in the comment box so that I can go ahead. Great. Okay. So attendance time, before attendance, closing remarks, and then I'm going to share a Google form for questions so that you can answer the questions. Fine. Okay. So two students, Dipen and Isha. So Dipen, are you there? Is Dipen present today? No. Okay. So today, along with Isha, Isha has left the meeting. Wow. Okay. Who is Isha's friend? Okay. If Isha is not there, who will answer? No worries. Meet. You were there to help us throughout the lecture, but I would request that to close the session. Right? What did we learn today in the class? You please share. And along with the Meet, I would request Suhasini Ba Guhel, right, to close the session. If Isha does not enter, right? If Isha is there, Isha will do. Otherwise, Suhasini, you are requested to do the honors, right? So, Meet, can we start?
Sir, I am not ready.
Okay. So, will you take 1 minute or so? Fine. Okay. Suhasini, can we just briefly, what did we do today?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Today you taught us about report writing. You explained the characteristics of it.
Okay.
You also told that how to write a report.
Very good.
We should not write lengthy, but specific to the situation or the thing.
Okay. Excellent, Suhasini. Very good. Meet, are you ready? Meet. Please.
Yes, sir. Today we learn report rating and objective of report rating to present a record of a compass work and their point reader friendly. It is a KISS, keep it short and simple. And the report should be short and brief.
Okay.
Unnecessary important is appreciate report writing. And
Okay. Is it all? Done?
okay, sir, done.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mick. Okay. Is there anybody who wish to share, comment, any one sentence or anything that you like the most about the class? Else I'll move towards attendance, the most important thing. Meet, whom should I ask? Okay, Nandini. Suhasini Abba has nominated you, Nandini. Would you like to share? 2 minutes for Nandini.
Sir, 2 minutes.
Acha, 3 minutes better, no problem.
I'm not
You need
asking you
more
to
or
increase
less?
the time, sir. No.
Acha, 1 minute, beta 1 minute, no problem.
Okay,
Or you
so
want
in
time in
today's
seconds?
yes, that would be great.
Take whatever time you wish, right? Tell me.
So in today's lecture, we learned about report writing, what all points we should keep in mind while preparing a report. It should be purely based on the data that we collect and the analysis that we do. And of course, the rules that we should keep in mind, that the language should not be too decorative. It should be simple and easily understood by everyone to the reader. Okay, that's it. Thank you, sir.
Great. Okay. We are needed by everyone. We need everyone. We are not totally. Yeah. Yes, Parth. I know that, when I was telling this, I knew that at least Parth would be there, would be noting down these things, right? Because he is the guy who, goes beyond limits and philosophically, right? Parth, thank you. One thing I like to tell you that I am proud of you all. Fine. So let's go for the attendance. This is very important even today. So it will take 3 minutes to go for it very quickly. We'll try to catch everybody. Okay. I guess there's one student who is absent. Isha has joined us. Isha, you need to open session tomorrow with today's closing remarks, because you could maybe because of technical things you left and
Yes,
rejoined.
sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir. I have network issues.
No, I know, but I know, no problem. Tomorrow we'll start with you. Fine. You shared today's closing remarks, because we're going to continue the second part of this report writing tomorrow, right?
Okay, sir.
Fine. Okay. So in attendance, I guess there is one student who is absent today. Is Deepan. Right. Other than Deepan, is there anybody who is absent today? I don't think so, because I could see and I have got attendance with me. Right. I download the attendance and I'll match with. Fine. Because it is 1 minute left and I don't want to gobble up your next lecture's time. So can we call it for a day, students? But then, okay. So we keep up to this. Thank you, Keval. Right, Bhavesh? No issues, right, Bhavesh? Fine. So tomorrow at 9:30 sharp, we will start and we'll talk about report writing and memo writing, and we'll discuss with practical examples. See you then tomorrow. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.